What's up, everybody? In today's video, we're going to be going over my trade recap from today. It ended up being a break-even trade, my most brutal break-even trade I've ever had. Like, I couldn't tell you if I just had a bad break-even spot or if it was just a break-even rate. And we're going to be going over it soon, and you guys can let me know what you think about this trade. The trade itself, I thought it was an amazing trade. I'm not even kidding. I get to school, I open my MacBook computer, and I see the setup, take it right away. It just looked like an A plus setup, something I would take every single time. And we're gonna be going over it right now, and let's just get to it. Getting right to it, this is the trade that I took today. I took this trade with 2 units, I believe, on M&Q. And my take profit would have been around $300, I believe, maybe a little less. And my stop loss started at around risking $200. Overall, I was happy with this risk to reward. I'm not sure if I started with something more like this. It would make more sense about a 1-to-1, but I didn't want to risk that much, so I ended up putting it above the second candlestick's high. Starting off on the hourly time frame, like we always do, we're going to be going over the buys that I had for the day to begin with. I get to the charts, and what did I see? Right away, I saw this wick inside of a 1 hour bullish fair value gap. That's usually the target that I look for when I'm trying to find any sort of jaws on liquidity, somewhere to set my take profits. And I found this very clear objective for which I thought was most definitely going to get hit at some point during the day. So I marked out that draw on liquidity. Also, going down onto the lower time frames, we had this trendline liquidity here, which also could have been taken as targets. Now, I don't think there was an entry that could have gotten you a great risk to reward on that. Maybe there was down here. This definitely got hit later on. But I just thought that I had the best chances with this draw right here. After finding all those draws on liquidity, deciding my bias, I wanted to go down to the lower time frames. Now, after finding these, I usually start with the 50-minute. So I went to the 50-minute. What do I see right away? Overnight, we had this big bearish move down, which caused two 50-minute fair value gaps, actually. Now, this 50-minute that I marked out here, first candle of the day, we wick into that. We wick right out of it, and that gives us the bearish momentum that I wanted to see. Now all I needed was to find a lower time frame inverse to the downside. After seeing that on the 15-minute, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, that draw was also in a 15-minute. So that draw was set for me. Now I went on to the lower time frames, such as the 5-minute, and I was looking for an inverse. Didn't see anything on the 5-minute. On the 3-minute, there was something, but it was much earlier on the day, and that's my fault that I didn't get on that early. The 3-minute was here, inverse that almost immediately, first candle of the day. And since I was late to that, I went on to the 1-minute to find it, to see if I saw anything. Now, on the 1-minute, I saw this bullish fair value gap that we inversed after that move up, and that was enough for me. After that, I entered the trade with 2 units, I believe. Like I said, with a take profit at around $300, stop loss risking around $200. And after I entered that, I was looking for a break-even point. Now, I didn't have a really clear break-even point, mostly because this trendline liquidity just wasn't enough for me. Since I entered into this trade so late, which again is my fault, since I entered so late, I didn't want my break-even point to be too near to this move down, because we were already moving down rapidly, and gave me even more confidence with this. So I set my break-even point once we took all of these trendline lows. After taking these lows, I didn't really have a set clear break-even point, but around all the way down here, after taking out these lows, I just thought that it was safe to go break even. So I went break even. Now, I'm not mad that I went break even. I think that it was a good idea, and that's a good break even point that I should have done, that I would have went to in any other trades as well. But the issue was that I entered too late, got on the charts too late, and that was my fault, again, like I said. So after taking out these lows, I went break even. Little move up, probably just a rebalance, and got taken out break even. You can see how close it was. I just got wicked out. It was just a break even rate, and then we went straight to my TP and much lower. That was a huge move down. We swept these lows right here from earlier this week, and just a huge move down. But what can I do about that? I should have just gotten onto the charts earlier, should have been there earlier, entered the trade earlier with the 3-minute inverse, and that's my fault, so there's nothing I can do about that. Anyways, quickly going over this trade again, starting off on the 1 hour time frame. Higher time frames, always starting off on the higher time frames, looking for my bias. Where is it? Did I even look at the 4 hour? Let's check out the 4 hour. Yeah, so that was I marked this out too, actually. This was another drawn liquidity that, I mean, if you were willing to risk a lot today, you could have done it on the 4 hour. Look at this. That was our daily objective. That's what we were targeting here, and that's what we got to. There was this wick low inside of this 4 hour bullish fair value gap. Now, that was just a really good drawn liquidity, which we ended up sweeping. We swept that liquidity, and now we're just going higher. Pretty sure because there was some high impact news that Trump announced. And anyways, we didn't go for that. So back on the 1 hour, what we were looking for, we're going to go over everything quickly again. Looking for my bias, I immediately saw that overnight we inversed this 1 hour bullish fair value gap. After inversing that created another 1 hour bearish fair value gap, which we wicked into during pre-market, which gave us the bearish momentum that I wanted to see, and is what really confirmed my bias for the moment, at least. And after seeing that bias, I also marked out this drawn liquidity here that I wanted to target if I were to take a trade. And after setting that drawn liquidity really clearly, went down to the 50-minute, which I normally do, saw this 15-minute gap, which we wicked into first candle of the day, which gave us even more of that bearish momentum that I wanted to see. Getting onto even lower time frames, after I went onto the 5-minute, we had this trendline liquidity, which I marked out right here. We swept all those lows later on with that big move down. But anyways, to enter the trade, we already wicked in this 50-minute. I was confident that we were going to go lower. I wanted to see a lower time frame inverse to the downside. Didn't see anything on the 5-minute. On the 3-minute, there was an inverse, but I was too late for it. Wanted to see something more because I didn't want to enter so late. Ended up seeing this 1-minute inverse fair value gap, which I marked out right here. I'll mark it out again. After inversing that, I entered with 2 units, targeting that drawn liquidity that I marked out earlier. Anyways, after sweeping all of these lows that we created with this resistance liquidity, I set my break-even point and got stopped out break-even. I couldn't do anything about that. I should have been on the charts earlier, like I said, and didn't lose anything, which is good, but again, could have been completely avoided. Anyways, that's my trade recap for today. Again, unfortunately, we got break-even rated, and there's nothing I could have done about that other than get on the charts earlier, which again, like I said, is definitely my fault. And I should have just been there earlier. I got on too late. Usually I want to be there for pre-market, but happened, and I just got to learn from that. Now, I'm sure you guys know that we have CPI news data coming up this week on Friday, and it's a perfect chance to pass new evals. So if you were looking past new evals, but I know the prices could be really expensive at times, that's what I thought when I was getting my first eval. And it's like, I'm not trying to spend $100 per month. So this code will get you a discount on that eval, so you don't have to pay the full price. And with CPI news data, you're almost guaranteed to pass your evals. So if you're buying another account, make sure to use this code to get a discount. Thank you for watching today's trade recap. See you guys later.